I'd love to talk about personal metamorphosis, this personal transformation that so many women are going through these days around the world. In a way, it is a collective awakening as well of the feminine, right? And we're part of this movement, and more women are joining us. But it doesn't mean that it is easy, right? Of course, when we on the other side of metamorphosis process, it's all brand new world, right? And it feels so rejuvenating. It feels like you shifted the perception of your entire reality, of your entire identity, right? And it feels great because it's aligned with your soul, right? It's aligned with your body, the way it's initially designed, the feminine body, right? But how does it start? What does it take to go through this process, right? What are the signs of the beginning phase of your metamorphosis? And usually metamorphosis starts with some kind of existential crisis. When you find yourself on the crossroads of your life, right? And you're not sure where to go. But what you're sure about, that you can't continue living and relating the way you have been doing it in your entire life, right? It's in a way, it's an awakening call. It might not feel good at the beginning because it's like this feelings like enough is enough. I can't live this way. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not vibrant. I'm disconnected from life force and I need a change. And there is this internal shift that happens within and invites you to start the metamorphosis process. Sometimes, of course, it's connected to some kind of external circumstance in terms of like, can be some kind of loss or trauma or sickness, and that can become like a awakening call. But many times it just comes from within, certain things shift, certain synchronicities happen, and we can't continue our life the way it is now, right? Being plugged into that system and following the rule of living, the scenario that we're offered by our culture and society. So today I would like to really open up the topic of how it feels to enter this first phase of metamorphosis for women, right? I went through my own metamorphosis, I would say many times, several times in a big way. And, when you're like going into it, it might feel kind of nice at the beginning because you become more aware of things and like, oh, I want that. But you go a little bit deeper and it starts to feel very intense and confusing and overwhelming and lonely. It's very lonely because all your old support system, all your designed lifestyle, your relationships, they're designed around the old self, right? The way you lived before. And it's not, it becomes incompatible with who you want to become, who you already start to become, right? So let's look at the signs that show you like, okay, I'm entering this existential crisis. I start this first phase of metamorphosis and it's inevitable, right? You can't just turn back. So it's not like a choice of your mind or your personality. It's just this force that's moving through you. So let's look at the signs. So the first sign is like these feelings, like you cross that line. You can't live or relate the way you used to, or the way maybe you're living and relating now. It's like enough is enough. It's like you're suffocating. It's like I will not survive if I will continue this way. And it might feel just like on the spiritual level, like you're disconnected from your soul if you continue to walk the path the way you do it now. So it's a strong feeling. You also might start receiving just like a stronger nudges about things that are not aligned, right? Maybe you get irritated about culture or some kind of mainstream environment, right? Become more sensitive to energies, human energies. You need more time to restore your balance within. You know, when you go to work or you go to the store, or you can talk to normal people, like it becomes harder for you to deal with, or the way you maybe relate to your partner, the way you show up in your family, like these old patterns, they start to feel uncomfortable, and you start to feel a stronger feeling of doing it differently. Also, you might start realizing like your this self-betrayal. You suddenly feel a little shocked. It's like, oh, I've been living this way for decades, and I just can't do this anymore because I'm disconnected from my desires. Like when you think, what do I desire? You just feel this void, and it's like so deeply buried that you can't even access it. And when we talk about desires, you go in your heads like, maybe I want a new car, right? New house, but that's not it, right? You know that the deepest desires, the longing, maybe something that you don't believe can be true, can be real, or can belong to you, but you can experience that. You don't feel that connection, and you become aware of that. So that is kind of this feel moment of realization. Now you might feel that your relationship with your partner maybe become unfulfilling for you, and you become aware of like, wow, I don't really enjoy this, because it became very routine based, it became very habitual, it kind of became very tasteless, right? And at the same time, you must start feeling awakening of your sensual nature, of your sacred sexuality, your feminine sacred sexuality in your body, your physical body, and your emotional body. And you start to find yourself also in kind of crossroads between the worlds, right? So this is what you feel and desire to experience, and the desire is growing, and connection to that life force is growing, and what you have, the conditions that you have, are completely incompatible with these desires, with sensuality, with sacred sexuality. So you start questioning your relationship with your partner. You start to think, what's the solution? But you feel trapped, because in order to change something, you might need to deconstruct the whole life, and it might cause a divorce, a separation, or it can ruin your life in a way that, because everything's so entangled, right? Practicalities, success, the family arrangements, security, all these agreements are merged, and it's really hard to untangle and change. So you start to understand like you're not satisfied or fulfilled as a woman, and you also notice that there are women who actually find a way to self-actualize that way and live completely differently, right? And you feel like, whoa, but you don't feel you belong there, right? You don't feel that belong to that kind of reality. So it feels external to you, right? And you start to feel desire and pull to do that as well. Now you might feel also disconnected from what you do, like your career, your job. You start realizing, wow, my job doesn't have any meaning. I don't contribute to anything that I want to see in the world, right? It's kind of mechanical, it's just the same thing. And you might start feeling disconnected and unfulfilled with that. And that can cause the desire to change that. It's a big change as well. You also want to belong maybe to something bigger and contribute and discover your soul gifts and find your gifts and talents to share with humanity, or with your family, with people around you, right? To do something different, like maybe healing work. Many women want to do feminine arts, and connect with their gifts and be in that vibrant community. to exchange our gifts with each other, right? And heal the planet. So all these things can start happening. You start feeling, the list, of course, is going on and on and on. You might just feel bored and trapped where you are in the circumstances, and you just don't know how and what to change and when. And that might feel so overwhelming, right? It might feel scary. It might feel confusing. And there are so many options out there, what you can do, what you can learn, what course you can take. But it also feels so overwhelming because, you know, it's really hard to make that choice. So that's why I believe this personal metamorphosis, it has to be facilitated and guided, right? By mentors, by coaches, by therapists, or sometimes there are a few people in your support system can be part of it. And you need to create it from scratch, because your family and friends and colleagues are not going to be your support system during this process. They don't have skills, they're not aligned, they're not, maybe they don't have any knowledge, they not maybe don't even understand you, probably because you build that support system for your old self. And moreover, your old support system might start feeling toxic to you because it doesn't want you to change. It doesn't support you. It will resist and create problems with your relationships when you start changing and you start addressing things, voicing things, right? You might feel like you're muted because nobody listening to you. You're not heard or seen or acknowledged, right? You're not well received. So it's very challenging. And I believe that we do need professional support here, right? I myself works with mentors and coaches and therapists. And when I deprive myself from that, I just don't feel good. I feel I self-betray because it's this vital channel of support and this vital space where you can be yourself, you can be truthful, you can actually relax and go deeper into understanding your truth. And then your mentor can help you to integrate this truth that's being like poured out of your heart, out of your body, out of your soul into your real life. And this is the most difficult piece, right? Integration. How do we integrate? So the old stuff is not compatible with your truth anymore. So how do you reconstruct your reality and build a new support system, build a new lifestyle, build new relationships? What will it take, right? There is no cookie cutter. For some people, it means they need to go through divorce or separation. For some people, it means they need to leave their jobs and leave the whole career behind, start something new, rediscover yourself. This is like when you reinvent yourself. And this intense process when you're in the place when you don't know yet, or you don't know how to change. The change is too terrifying. As I said, it can create this kind of PTSD when you start changing it without having any skills or without having clarity or without having confidence what you're creating, right? It's very new, brand new for you. So being held and guided and supported by someone who is wise, experienced, have knowledge, who has training, maybe also have, it's very important that they had metamorphosis experience on their own. So they know how it works, and they also worked with other people. So that is also, it's crucial, right? It's not enough to have training. So, and I do encourage everyone to find their mentor and guide and support system to go through this process. And if you are aligned with me, if you connect with my energy, if you feel safe in my space, in my energy, I'd be happy to have a conversation with you and invite you to work with me on this program, like Metamorphosis. It's called Metamorphosis. This is not probably, I'm the most passionate about this program right now because this is so needed, you know, and there can be, of course, there can be elements of Tantrika and the Tantric Queen, other programs that I do, sacred sexuality, you know, working with your senses, spirituality, expanded states of consciousness, inner child work, all the practices, right? Embodiment, it's all there, but it will be designed in alignment with your process, right? And in the right sequence that work for you. So it's very unique space to be. It's very creative space, right? It's like a star nursery. And it applies to your relationships, but not only relationships, not only intimacy, not only feminine awakening of your sensuality. It applies to your soul gifts of your what you're doing in the world, how you're living your lifestyle, what you're creating, who you're becoming, you know, how you're walking your soul purpose. Like, are you living your soul purpose and walking your soul path, right? So, yes, please reach out and we can talk. I offer a free consultation to see where are we at and we're a good fit. Of course, it's one-on-one. I love that. And I love to take you really, really deep into to the origins of your own internal universe, right? This is the most beautiful journey you can take. And then bring it to life and rebuild everything around you, your entire external reality, your relationships, your lifestyle, everything in alignment with your deepest truth, deepest feminine truth, and deepest feminine desire.